you're a home buyer, somebody or a young person looking to buy a home, you need a bit of a reset.
There is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite
The
low.
data is in, and today we're going to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, which is new home construction. Now, you guys should already know I've been traveling around the nation trying to give you guys boots on the ground and eye in the sky intel to show you guys the reality of what's happening with new construction. But today we're going to go over the data and I'm going to show you guys that prices are down. And also I'm going to paint a picture of how new construction in the clusters of huge hyper supply areas are actually spreading over to existing homes. So I'm going to look at all of that stuff today, you guys. We're going to go over all of the updated stats, the inventory, everything. And at the end, I'm going to show you guys what areas in the nation have the most amount of new building. And don't forget, you guys, one of the biggest takeaways of this video is every subdivision is different. You could be in a metro area like San Diego that's doing great with existing and new homes, but you can still find a great deal potentially. Okay, it's going to be very, very hard, but you could still find a great deal if you're using the data and understand how much different each subdivision is. But you guys, the fact of the matter is there's a crisis in new homes right now. The new home builders can continue to go down on prices without them going out of business. That's how much padding is left in these houses. So really, really good video today. And don't forget, you guys, like this video, shoot me some comments below, hit notifications, but I really want to hear from you. If you're in an area with these big clusters of new construction, do me a favor, guys, comment below, shoot your intel, and don't forget to put your metro area below. But other than that, guys, we'll get started right now. So I'm going to briefly jump into two Zillow articles, then we'll go into the data, then we'll go into the map. Now, the first Zillow article is November new home sales. New sales slip in November. New home sales slid down in November after a strong few months. And that's a strong few months according to them, by the way. 3 bullet points. There were 590,000 new single-family home sales nationwide in November. That's down 12.2% from October, but up 1.3% from November 2022, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Now, some people think that new home construction numbers aren't important because there's not that many, but I'm going to tell you guys again, the information that we're reviewing is underreported. And also understand that these new home builders are picking out specific locations, and in those locations, it makes a huge difference. For example, in Dallas, there's as many new home listings as there is existing. Same thing in Conroe, same thing in many areas in Houston. Even though new construction is not spread out to every metro area in the nation, the metro areas that they are in are front loaded with hyper supply. Quite frankly, they have too many clusters of these new homes in areas that are not heavily populated. And now, having said that, I think the same thing with this new legislation that Congress is trying to pass, where it's saying that institutional investors have to sell their properties. People are like, oh, it's only 750,000 homes. But the thing is those institutional investors pick specific pockets of the nation. So in the nation that they're heavily invested in, it will make a massive difference. You have to understand that there are pockets of this stuff going on. And what we're seeing right now is the cracks emerge in the housing market, starting with new construction. Second bullet point, the median sales price on new homes sold in November was $488,900. The seasonally adjusted estimate of new homes for sale at the end of November was 451,000. Now that is a whopping supply of 9.2 months. And honestly, I'm telling you guys, add 5 months, 6 months to that because it's underreported for sure. There's no doubt about that. Now let's read why this matters. Despite mortgage rates falling in November, new home sales diverged from its previous upward trend and fell from last month. So even with those low rates, remember, you guys, people aren't rushing out to buy right now. This comes as there was an increase in existing home sales, a bump in home builder confidence, and an increase in housing starts. Signals that pointed to new home sales remaining strong and influencing the much higher consensus than seen in the official data. Perhaps the slight increase in existing home inventory matched with rates floating off their peak, making an existing home more available and affordable. And I don't think it's more affordable for 1 second because the rates are so much lower in new homes. But again, if you're getting a bad deal with new construction, okay, that makes sense. But if you're getting a great deal, that doesn't make sense. Even though it's still overpriced, overall, still overpriced. Now, that was enough to lure buyers away from the higher price tag of new homes. And that's one of the issues with new homes. They're just too expensive for normal people to purchase them. There are plenty of new homes still working through the construction pipeline, and with starts on the rise, Hopefully, this steady flow of new construction homes continues to make its way to the market to help boost overall inventory and smooth out prices. And we're actually seeing that in the data. They're picking up speed again. It's crazy. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's do one more Zillow article. November housing starts boom as rates fall. Housing starts rose in November, significantly beating expectations. This follows a drop in mortgage rates, which left home builders feeling optimistic about the new construction landscape in the months ahead. Few bullet points here. Housing starts hit a whopping 1.56 million in November, up 14.8% from a revised October. That is pretty big, you guys. That's a 9.3% increase from last year. Single family housing starts increased as well to 1.14 million in November, and that is up 18% from October. Housing permits issued in November were down 2.5% from October. We'll look at these charts in a minute. Last bullet point, 1.45 million homes were completed in November, up 5% from October, but down 6.2% year over year. So they're completing these houses rapidly, you guys, rapidly. Now think about this, guys. If they sold 500,000 houses, but there's roughly 1.5 million, and that's yearly numbers, isn't that more like 3 years of inventory? Isn't that 36 months? Anyways, we won't dig into that too much. I'm just saying simply, you guys, it's greatly underreported. Now, why that matters, home builders saw some renewed spirit in the market in November with confidence rising from October lows, likely leading to the rise in housing starts. It's a good sign that builders are starting to ramp back up, and that's pretty crazy, their construction pipeline, with completions up in November, giving buyers more options. This increased activity in new construction is vital for getting back on track for a more balanced market. And again, we do want them to continue building. That's a fact. And while permits might be down from last month, November was the first time in the last 14 months that housing permits were up annually. Mortgage rates have continued to float down in the early weeks of December, so this momentum should continue through year end. Welcome news for buyers who have been unlocked by affordability to enter the market once again. So again, this is all great news. I'm a little bit surprised that they keep building and they're building even faster. But the thing is, guys, is if you purchase a new home right now, odds are you're going to lose equity, and odds are you're going to be in that house for 10, 15 years without the ability to refinance or sell unless you come to the closing table with your own money, which is not what you want to do as a homeowner. You want to get equity. You want to get profit. And I understand this, okay? Every person's situation is different. Some people's PE ratio may be 1 and their debt to income ratio may be 10%, which means they're not as exposed in purchasing real estate than people like I am, where I have to make the right decision. My entire family is depending on me making the right decision. Now, let's go into the Fred economic data updated charts as well. Now, starting with permits. So permits is down month over month, but it is up, you guys, year over year, and it is up a lot. So permits are sitting at 1.46 million. That's a lot of permits. Now, when we look at starts, I mean, month over month starts went up, about what, 201,000 starts. That's pretty crazy, you guys. Or they're just messing with the numbers because they have that many cancellation of contracts. But either way, there's 1.56 million houses that have been started on an annualized basis, obviously, right? That's insane, you guys. Now, take a look at total units under construction. We're sitting at 1.68 million that are currently under construction. So that's past the start. Now, the amazing thing is that's been plateaued since April of 2022. Look at this. It really hasn't changed. So everything else is like, a roller coaster ride in the charts, but yet this is the same and there's no funny play going on here. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you guys get this, right? Now, median sales price also updated, and look at, there was a tick up, but I do want to let you guys know that it did peak. Okay, the prices of new homes did peak in October of 2022 at $496,800. That has gone down, obviously, to $434,700. That is a decline of 12.5% or $62,000. Now, when we look at month over month, it actually went up $19,800. But again, you guys, the trajectory is headed downward. Now, this is a very revealing set of data right here. This is the months of supply available on the market. You guys can see this has skyrocketed up. So even though, again, we had all this optimism with rates going down, all this optimism with a soft landing, the supply is surging, you guys. The supply is absolutely surging. What this means that you're looking at here, it's an absolute buyer's market. And it's been a buyer's market with new homes for about a year and a half, a little bit longer than that. And that's why we're seeing the prices go down so sharply. Essentially, we need supply like this with existing homes, which we do not have, but we have hyper supply when it comes to new construction. Now, I want to explain to you guys is generally when the market starts to crack apart, it starts with new construction. And we see that right now. And what I also want to explain is in the areas with heavy pockets of new construction, those price drops are spreading over to the existing values of home. Because in order for existing homes to compete with new construction, they have to offer price discounts and buying incentives. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. What I want to do is show you the 4 metro areas, according to Redfin, the 4 metro areas, and there's only 4 according to Redfin, that are down year over year. And remember, you guys, this is existing homes. This is not new construction. New construction is a total meltdown. But there are 4 metro areas, and I wanted to point out that every metro area is in the state of Texas. That is the top state of new construction. The biggest loser is Austin, sitting at a year-over-year loss of 4.5%. When we look at from peak, it's closer to 20% down, by the way. Same thing with Anaheim. You see Anaheim, it's up 16.1%, but it's down almost double digits from peak. The year-over-year data taints what's going on currently, and the year-over-year data taints what happened from peak to current. But anyway, San Antonio's a loss of 3% year over year, Houston 1.2%, and Fort Worth, Dallas area at 0.2%. So all 4 of these existing homes, okay, this is not new home data. This is existing homes. All 4 are located in Texas. Now, let me show you guys a map of where most of the new home building is going on. And I think you're going to be a little bit surprised by what you see. And you guys, this is a great article. This will be linked in my description. This is an interactive map that's going to show us where the housing market is growing as far as supply with new homes. Great, great article. Now, when we look at just the permits, I mean, you see everywhere in Texas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. Also Phoenix. And remember what's going on in Phoenix, the Chandler, Mesa, Surprise area. It is flooded with new construction. Also Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh. I'm going there, you guys. I'm going to each of those. Indianapolis. I'm going to try to go to Indianapolis. New York as well. I'm going to try to get out there. Tampa is on there. I mean, you guys, these are areas that are seeing generally the most price decline when it comes to existing homes. Now take a look at the top 5 metro areas of new construction from a unit standpoint. Number 1 is Dallas, which is right next to Fort Worth. So Dallas, Texas is number 1. Number 2, oh, look at that, Houston. Houston's number 2. Number 3, Austin. Number 1, 2, and 3 are Florida. Okay, number 4, Phoenix, Arizona. I just got back from doing a trip in Phoenix. I can't wait to show you what I found there. Now, number 5 is Atlanta. I plan on going to Atlanta in January. And also number 6 is New York. I also plan on going to New York in January, as well as Charlotte, which is sitting at number 7. Now, Tampa, Florida is number 8. Number 9 is Raleigh. Again, I plan on going to Raleigh and Indianapolis in January to really get some boots on the ground perspective. But I mean, these are all areas that are starting to crack as far as the prices of houses. This is also a super cool chart, you guys. This is going to go into the population versus total permits. Now, if you look at number 3, which is Austin, look at the residents per new permit is only 568. So again, Austin is in the worst shape because they have the most amount of new construction when it pertains to the population. I mean, this is starting to make sense, right? So the number 1 is Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay, we just went over Fort Worth is on there, right? So we just went over this information. So Dallas, Fort Worth is number 1. Again, total permits, okay? Now, number 2, again, Houston, Austin, Phoenix, Atlanta. I mean, go down here. San Antonio's down here, you guys. I think that's number 12. But I mean, these are pockets and potentially areas like Denver. Here's Denver. I just got back from Denver. I mean, these are all areas that are showing price decline. There's Las Vegas is on there. There's Riverside. I did a video on Riverside. San Diego's not, problem with San Diego is these houses that they're building are just so out of reach to the locals, and they can be out of reach because look at permit to residence is 1 permit to almost 3,000 residences. So in order for San Diego to get a lot more back to reality, I think they need a lot more affordable houses being built, which they're not. In conclusion, what I'm saying is the new home construction and the new home data is very, very important. We've had a massive rebound this year for existing homes, but understand, you guys, the sales are in the gutter right now. And the only reason why they're propped up is because the upper echelon is purchasing these houses, or kids that are getting the down payment from their parents. Absolutely no reasonable person can afford to buy a house right now. Buying a house right now is extremely risky. Now, if you're still going to buy a house despite all this data, because potentially you have to buy a house, just understand you should be doing it very cautiously. You should be having no consumer debt. Your credit score should be above 720. You should have emergency savings. And the biggest thing of all, you should be having the right expectations. And the expectations should be you're going to be stuck in that house for 10 years. And honestly, guys, think about this. 10 years is a long time. Now, other than that, I hope you guys got some new value, insights, and perspective. And if you're out there investing in real estate, y'all know that I wish you luck and I hope you win.